Hi, I'm Ray, and we're standing in the Raezor Latex studio. Today I'm going to teach you how to take your own measurements. The first and most important rule is never take your own measurements. Always get a friend to measure you.
Hey, friend.
Hey. The reason you want to get a friend to measure you is because when you measure yourself, it's not going to be accurate. With latex, you want to be as accurate as possible. If I were to measure myself, my arms are up. This is inaccurate. I look down. Once again, I've had to move my body. This is not an accurate measurement. So, get a friend, preferably one that you want to see you naked, and they're going to start measuring you. The first measurement is the neck circumference. Turn, please. This one's pretty basic. You take the centimeter side of your measuring tape, you start at 0, you wrap it around. And then you ask, is this comfortable?
Absolutely.
You don't want it to be too tight because you don't want to choke them. The next measurement is the shoulder measurement. You want to place your finger at the notch between neck and shoulder, and then you want to feel for the bone at the end of the shoulder. That's your shoulder measurement. Next is across back. Once again, feeling for the bone on either side. You want to measure from the bone straight across to the bone. The next is the bust measurement. Turn, please. Over bust, arms up, and arms down. Notice that my friend here is standing in a relaxed position. You want this position because this is the position you'll be standing in most when you're wearing your latex. So, next, bust, arms up, arms down. You want it to be snug, but not too tight. You also don't want it to be loose. You don't want to put a finger in between for space because this is latex, we want it to be tight. Next, under bust, you want it to be snug, but not too tight, not too loose. This measurement may look a little bit different on a woman's body.
Hello?
Hi. So a few things you want to keep in mind is how do you want your breasts to look in the latex? You want to make sure you're wearing the bra that you'll be wearing, or if you're not wearing a bra, you wear the bra that puts your boobs where you want them to sit. Is this the bra you'll be wearing with your latex?
Yes.
Awesome. So when you're doing the over bust, this might have been less clear on a man, but you want to raise your arms, put them back down. You want this to be sitting over the breast tissue. The bust circumference would go over the widest part, like that. Once again, snug, because if you do it like this, that's going to create pancake boob. That's going to be bad. The next thing, under bust, same thing. You're measuring basically just under the bust, where the bust sits right there. All right, next is bust point to bust point. Bust point is a polite way of saying nipple. You're measuring nipple to nipple. Can you please point to your nipples for me? Thank you. So then you measure nipple to nipple. You write that down. Next is shoulder to bust point, shoulder to nipple. You want to measure from mid-shoulder. Can you point to your nipple again for me, please? Right to there. Next is neck to waist. You want to take your measuring tape. You want to find the hollow of the neck, place 1 centimeter there, so it's 1 centimeter above. And you want to basically feel to the waist. You want to feel down like that. So usually, in this case, our lovely model has a perfect gap for this to lie flat. You really want to make sure that it's not tight flat against the chest. You want to leave space for that bust area. So you take your finger, you find the smallest part of the waist, and you draw it across, neck to waist. Shoulder to waist at back, you want to start at the mid-shoulder. You want to bring it straight down. You want to feel for the smallest part of the waist. And that's shoulder to waist at back. Armpit to waist, sideways please. Thank you. Arm up, arm down. The reason you raise the arm is so you get as up into the armpit as possible while still, and then you put it back down so there's still that relaxed posture. You want to feel, once again, for the smallest part of the waist, and that is the armpit to waist measurement. The waist circumference, thank you, is you find that smallest part of the body and you measure that. Once again, snug. Armpit to hip, same idea. If you could raise your arm goes down. You want to find the high hip. This is where the hip bone sits. So you can feel the bone right there, and you want to basically draw it across and make sure that that's the measurement that you're taking. Next is the hip circumference. You want to find the high hip, just like we found at the last measurement, and that's the part where you're taking the measurement from. Other people consider this more the stomach. Either measurement is fine, you just want to make sure it's as accurate as possible. Next is the butt circumference. You want to find the largest part of the butt, which for our lovely model here is roughly around there. So you want to take it all the way around Make sure you're working in centimeters. And measure that part at the largest part. For some women, this is actually a bit lower than center. For some women, it's actually at more the widest part of the hip, and that's sometimes a bit lower. That's something you want to take into consideration when you're measuring for latex. Next is armpit to butt. So same idea, armpit up, arm down. You find that largest part, and you take the measurement from there. Next is neck to neck through crotch. Stay there. You want to start, once again, find the hollow of the neck, 1 centimeter above, and then you go through the crotch, up, and you want to find the bone at the back of the neck. The bone at the back of the neck, the one that protrudes, you want to go 1 centimeter above that. That is neck to neck through crotch. The next measurement is one of the reasons why you might want to get a friend to do this. This is crotch to neck. Face forward, please. Spread your legs. Thank you very much. You want to take your finger, you want to place it in their crotch, the place where usually all the seams on your pants would meet. And you bring this all the way up and measure 1 centimeter above the hollow of the neck. Next is the armpit circumference. So I'm going to show you one thing that a lot of people get wrong. They measure, like, put your arm down for a sec. They do this. The reason this is a problem is because there's a little bit of extra skin that it can get caught on. So you want to make sure you raise your arm, put it down. Thank you. This gets you a snugger fit. One common misconception is the lower the armpit hole, the more range of motion you have. This is incorrect. You want to get it as close into that armpit as possible so you have full range of motion if you have something with sleeves. Next measurement, thank you, is the bicep circumference. This basically just means there. You don't need to flex, you don't need to show your bicep, you just need to keep it relaxed and measure that snugly. Elbow circumference, forearm circumference, wrist circumference. Next is armpit to wrist. So you want to, once again, put it in the armpit, relax please, and you put it down at wrist height. I sometimes like to add an extra centimeter to half a centimeter to centimeter just to make sure it sits properly when the latex is stretched. Next is armpit to elbow. Same thing, you keep your finger in that armpit and you just draw it along and you look at the measurement reaching at elbow. The next measurement is shoulder to wrist. You find that bone that we were using for the across back measurement and you take it straight down to the wrist. 24B, armhole depth. This one's kind of weird, so you want to actually start with the end of your measuring tape. Could you please turn around? Thank you. So, I'm going to move your hair. We're going to start with the end of the measuring tape like this. Do you mind taking your right hand and put your finger right there and hold that in place? You're then going to take this, wrap it around. Can you lift your arm and put it back down? You want to hold it loosely so that they don't end up pulling it out as they put their arm down. If you make it too tight, it's going to get yanked out of your hand. At this point, you draw this straight across the back, and you've got a lovely guide for your measure. So you're going to take it from here, the top of the measuring tape, to the top of this measuring tape. And that's going to be 24B armhole depth. Next is the thigh circumference. You want to find basically as high up into the crotch as you can go. And you want to get that right there. So just to show you again, as high up as you go. Next is the mid-thigh circumference. Above knee. You want to find above the knee. So it's usually around here. You want to make sure that you're going above the entire kneecap. So above knee, knee, under knee. This is the one situated just below the kneecap. Next is the calf. You find the largest part of the calf and the ankle. Next measurement, once again, I'm so happy that I am this model's friend, crotch to ground. So you want to put your finger right there, stand straight please and relax, thank you. And you take this all the way down to the instep. You don't want to go straight down in case their legs are spread, this won't be as long. You want to make sure you go all the way down to the instep. Next is hip to ground. Remember, this is the high hip. You feel for that high hip, all the way down to the ground along the outside of their leg. Waist to ground. Smallest part of the waist to the ground. Next is knee to ground. You go from that mid-knee from the side to the ground. Last is, well, I guess the last fun one is crotch to knee. So once again, thank you very much. Put that in the crotch, right to the middle inside of the knee. And our last measurement is knee to calf. If you could turn around, please. So you want to find the part where the knee bends. Could you bend your leg for me? And straighten back up. You find the largest part of the calf. You're measuring there. 38, neck to under bust. This measurement is only a requirement for women who are ordering cat suits or any other piece where we might need to measure from where the cups are going to sit within a shirt or a dress or a cat suit. So you want to take your measuring tape, centimeters again. You're going to start with this ticker tape just right above where the collarbone is, and you want to measure right down to where the bottom of the bust starts. Thanks for watching. I don't know how to finish this video. I know we're going to do this 4 more times.